Lately, I want to say 2022, you begin a lot of new accounts that are suspended immediately. Most people make some of these mistakes, so let's avoid some of these mistakes. Rule number one, the first thing you want to do is you want to get an MCC account. You Google MCC and you just open up that account. What is an MCC account? It's the equivalent of a Facebook ads business manager. So you can have access to other accounts through there. So if you're an agency, or even if you're managing campaigns just for yourself, and let's just say, whatever, you're an affiliate or you have various businesses, you always want to get the MCC account. Now, when you establish an MCC account, you want to stay away from virtual credit cards. While it is technically allowed, it is harder in the event of a suspension. Those type of cards usually trigger the things that Google is looking for when it comes to fraud. And then you have to go through a process, usually a lengthy process, of proving that you have a real account. So you want to do this with a real account that you have, an account that has not been affiliated with another Google Ads account in any way, shape, or form that has had a suspension in the past. A lot of people, sometimes they'll put some payment information that was associated with an account that was suspended in the past, and then they're surprised when they open up a new account and it's suspended right away. So you want to avoid that. So let's just say you already established your MCC account. Now you want to create your sub-accounts. Your sub-accounts, as a policy, I like to have one domain per account, just because in the event of, for whatever reason, you forget to renew that domain down the road or you stop using it, you can have an issue where you get things suspended and then you may lose that account. So rule of thumb, one domain per account. That's what I like to do. When you are buying your domain, you want to make sure that domain has not had any problem in the past. Now, there's no 100% surefire way of verifying that because Google won't tell you. However, what you could do is before you buy an account or buy a new domain, you want to look at the Wayback Machine and see if the domain was used in some way, shape, or form in the past. See what type of setting it had. If it was something that was scammy, spammy, or anything of the sort, and Google deems it as a dangerous site, you may get your account auto banned. So you want to do that. So the next step is, once you've chosen a domain, you vetted it and seen that it's good and it's in your sub account, you also, for the payment information, once again, you want to avoid having virtual credit cards or things of that nature. So if it's the account for yourself, I personally have had no issues using the same payment profile for different types of accounts. So if you pass that test, you can do that. If it's for another client, you can set up new accounts for the other client, and then you stop the campaign creation and give them administrative access where they can put in their payment information. And that way, if there's any issue on that account, that's their problem when it comes to that. But ideally, the main things really to avoid is virtual credit cards, having a payment profile that was associated with an account that was suspended in the past, and having a domain that, for whatever reason, had an issue in the past in the eyes of Google. If you avoid those three major things, then you can avoid an auto ban suspension from the beginning. Now, moving on, Google has their policies, and more every day they're gonna come up with new policies. They're gonna have this 3-strike policy that they're gonna enforce in the next coming months. So you wanna avoid promoting certain things. You wanna avoid exaggerated claims. Right now, the health space has been getting a lot of scrutiny in the eyes of Google. So you wanna be careful with any types of health products. And in the health space, before and after pictures, exaggerated promises, things of that nature, Google's going to look at. Also in the financial space, things related to debt, credit repair, some of these things are pretty much no longer allowed. Even things in the crypto space, unless you have certain certifications, Google is not looking at that. You really want to look at Google advertising policies, and you really want to drill that down as far as what you're doing in that aspect. Also, when you link out to campaigns, let's just say you're dealing with affiliate networks, do not put the affiliate link in the URL. Google is a little bit more accepting when it comes to YouTube ads versus search. However, you putting that URL, once again, if someone made a lot of mistakes or promoted things in a fashion that Google was not in accordance with in the past, they're gonna look at that URL and they're gonna be like, okay, you're trying to circumvent systems. Circumventing systems meaning you're trying to get around the system. We already banned you because of that URL, and now you're using it again. So do not ever use an affiliate link. If you have to use that, there are little trackers out there that allow you to do direct links. And obviously the trackers out there that if you use your own private domain for, you can still put the tracking template, the tracking URL in the tracking template. But the final URL must match your page, must match your domain, and just keep it that way. There are instances in ClickFunnels, yeah, you can use a redirect URL, but I would avoid using that as well. I would use the final URL. The final URL meaning the URL where you finally land after all the redirects. There are ways of using templates for trackers. It's just a matter of you sticking it in the tracking template accordingly. If you have a tracker that allows for direct linking, then you set things up that way. You place a JavaScript code and you do that. For the most part, this covers 95% of the reasons why people get their accounts banned or suspended. And this is not counting, you have ad over-promising on money, over-promising cures and things of that nature. Now, in the event that your account is suspended, the first reaction is, oh, I'm just gonna get a new IP and open up a new account in somebody else's name and things of that nature. But the problem is gonna happen is you don't know why your account was suspended. It could have been the URL, it could have been the type of business that you're promoting, things of that nature. So I would go through the process of trying to unsuspend that account. It will take a while, they will say no, but eventually you will get in touch with somebody that will give you more information as to what you can do, and your account will get unsuspended. Accounts can get unsuspended, unless it's something very blatant, super illegal, things of that nature. Then in that case, there will be an issue. Now, could you open up a new account under somebody else's name, some other household, maybe a different computer, VPN, so on and so forth? Yeah, it's possible. People have done it. Just so that you know, the ideal thing is to really appeal the account and really find out why was it suspended before you take that drastic step. In summary, the steps are avoid virtual credit card accounts, avoid payment profiles that are linked with suspended accounts, open up an MCC, try to keep one domain or as little domains as possible per sub account in your Google Ads, and vet the domain name. And please read the policies. Do not promote stuff. Do not try to beat around the bush and try to find a way around the system, because Google will eventually catch up. If you want to hear more tips and tricks on YouTube ads, make sure to check out the channel. And if you really want in-depth analysis and step-by-step breakdown of how we do things and run our YouTube ads, feel free to book a call to check out the course.